From Learjets to Jumbos, the time goes fast in cabins built to last with Mac improvements and user-friendly instruments. From jetliners, which the old-timers built, to ships that water spilt through when bulkheads were breached by collisions leach, generations of technology and our curiosity has replaced past low-tech airline systems with computerized ones and parts that are lighter but durable.
You ever watch a jet streak across the sky and think, I could build one of those? Well, hold on to your hard hat because it's a whole lot tougher than it looks. We're talking blood, sweat, and maybe a few tears. But not the kind you're thinking. These things get complicated. We're diving headfirst into the wild world of amateur-built aircraft, specifically jets. And trust me, this ain't your grandpappy's Cessna. This is next-level engineering, folks. Over the next few chapters, we'll break down the regulatory maze and safety hurdles you'll face when building a jet in the good old US of A. We're talking FAA approvals, certifications, inspections, the works. So buckle up, grab your safety glasses, and let's get down to the nitty-gritty of turning your aviation dreams into a reality. Remember, safety first, second, and third. This ain't a game, folks. First things first, you're gonna have to get chummy with the FAA, the Federal Aviation Administration. They're the folks who make sure your flying machine isn't gonna fall out of the sky and ruin someone's barbecue. Before you even think about welding a single piece of metal, you gotta submit detailed plans to the FAA. We're talking everything: design blueprints, materials you'll be using, even how you plan on putting it all together. They'll crawl all over those plans, making sure everything's up to snuff. And trust me, they've seen it all, from the ingenious to the downright terrifying. So do your homework, triple-check your calculations, and maybe have an extra pot of coffee on hand. Dealing with the FAA is a marathon, not a sprint. Now, the FAA isn't just interested in pretty pictures, they want proof that you know what you're doing. That means providing detailed calculations, stress analysis reports, and any other documentation that supports your design choices. Remember, these folks are responsible for the safety of everyone in the air, so they're not going to just take your word for it. They need to see the science behind the madness. Think of it like this: you wouldn't trust a mechanic who couldn't explain how an engine works, right? Same goes for building a jet. So brush up on your engineering lingo, because you'll be speaking their language throughout this whole process. Now I know what you're thinking, can I just skip all this paperwork and wing it? The answer, my friend, is a resounding no. The FAA isn't known for its sense of humor when it comes to safety. Cutting corners might save you time and money in the short run, but it's a surefire way to end up with a hangar queen. A fancy-looking jet that'll never leave the ground. Remember, this isn't just about following rules. It's about building a safe and reliable aircraft. And that starts with a solid foundation of engineering principles and FAA approval. So do it right the first time, even if it means a few extra sleepless nights. Your future self will thank you for it. Alright, so you've got your FAA approval, your blueprints are looking sharp, and you're itching to start building. But hold your horses, amigo. We've still got a long way to go. Next up, certification. Now, certification is where the rubber meets the runway. It's the FAA's way of making sure your jet isn't going to fall apart mid-flight. They're talking about everything from structural integrity to performance standards. Think of it like getting your car inspected, but a million times more intense. These guys don't mess around. They'll poke, prod, and scrutinize every inch of your creation to make sure it meets their stringent safety requirements. Certification isn't just about visual inspections, though. Oh no, the FAA's got a whole bag of tricks up their sleeves. We're talking stress tests, simulations, and even the dreaded flight tests. They'll put your jet through the ringer, literally, simulating extreme weather conditions, turbulence, and even bird strikes. They want to see how your baby holds up under pressure. And if it can't handle a simulated flock of geese, well, it's back to the drawing board. It's all about pushing your design to the absolute limit, ensuring it can handle whatever the skies throw its way. Now I know all this testing and scrutiny might seem like overkill, but trust me, it's for a good reason. When you're hurtling through the air at hundreds of miles per hour, you want to know that your jet can handle it. Remember, the FAA isn't your enemy here. They're just trying to make sure you don't end up as a cautionary tale in the aviation world. So embrace the process, learn from the experts, and never cut corners when it comes to safety. Because at the end of the day, a little bit of paperwork is a small price to pay for the privilege of soaring through the clouds in your own custom-built jet. You ever watch one of them cooking shows where the chef pulls a perfectly browned turkey out the oven and says, "Now that's a work of art"? Well, building a jet ain't too different, except the FAA is the food critic and they ain't impressed by store-bought gravy. You gotta get your hands dirty if you want to fly this thing. The FAA wants to know you've poured your sweat and tears into this project, not just your wallet. That's where the 51% rule comes in. It's about proving you built a major portion of this bird yourself. Now, I ain't talking about just bolting on a few prefab parts. We're talking about the guts, the bones, the heart of the aircraft. This means fabricating, assembling, wiring, plumbing, all the nitty-gritty stuff that separates the pilots from the passengers. It's about understanding every rivet, every weld, every line of code that keeps this thing in the air. It's about respect for the craft and, let's be honest, a healthy dose of obsession. You see those hands? Those are the hands of someone who's put in the hours. They've felt the burn of the grinder, the sting of fiberglass splinters, the frustration of a stripped screw at 2 a.m. They've earned their wings, literally, one rivet at a time. And that's what the FAA wants to see, a deep, personal connection between the builder and the machine. They want to know that when you're soaring through the clouds, you're not just along for the ride. You're an integral part of the equation. You're not just a passenger in your own creation. You're the engineer, the mechanic, the test pilot. You're the one who made it all possible. And that, my friends, is a feeling you can't buy at any altitude. Now, you might be thinking, Mike, how in the world am I going to prove I did 51% of the work? Do I need a time-lapse video of my garage? Well, hold your horses, Maverick. The FAA ain't unreasonable, but they do need to see some receipts. Remember that builder's log I mentioned earlier? That's your new best friend. Think of it like a diary, but instead of teenage angst, it's filled with detailed records of every step you take in this build. Every nut and bolt, every hour spent hunched over the workbench, every head-scratching moment when you realize you installed the landing gear backwards, it all goes in the log. And don't skimp on the details. The FAA wants to see dates, times, materials used, even the occasional coffee stain to prove you were really in the trenches. Pictures, my friend, are worth 1,000 rivets. Document everything. Close-ups of your welds, your wiring harnesses, your painstakingly fabricated components. Show them the sweat equity, the busted knuckles, the pride in your eyes as you watch your creation take shape. This ain't about cheating the system, it's about proving your dedication. The FAA needs to know you're not some Johnny-come-lately who just slapped their name on the side of a prefab kit. They need to see your fingerprints all over this thing, metaphorically speaking, of course. We don't want any unauthorized DNA evidence on this masterpiece. That logbook is your testament to the countless hours, the problem-solving, the sheer grit it takes to build a jet. It's your ticket to the skies, your proof that you're not just along for the ride, you're the driving force behind it. So keep it close, keep it detailed, and keep it real. Because when the FAA comes knocking, you want to be able to show them with pride that you earned your wings. Now, I know what you're thinking, Mike. This all sounds like a whole lot of bureaucratic hoopla, and you wouldn't be entirely wrong. But here's the thing. That 51% rule, it ain't just about ticking boxes for the feds. It's about something much bigger. It's about the satisfaction of knowing you built something extraordinary with your own two hands. It's about the pride of looking up at a machine that can defy gravity and knowing you breathed life into it. It's about joining a long line of tinkerers, inventors, and dreamers who dared to challenge the impossible. The Wright brothers, Amelia Earhart, even that guy down the street who built a plane in his backyard out of duct tape and prayer. They all shared that same spark, that same drive to push the boundaries of what's possible. And that 51% rule, it's a badge of honor, a testament to the hard work, dedication, and sheer willpower it takes to join their ranks. So yeah, it might mean long nights in the hangar, grease under your fingernails, and maybe a few choice words muttered under your breath. But trust me, When that engine roars to life and you feel that jet lift off the ground, all the blood, sweat, and tears will be worth it. Because you'll know, deep down, that you didn't just build a jet. You built a legacy. Alright folks, let's talk about paperwork. Yeah, I said it, paperwork. Now I know it ain't the most glamorous part of building a jet, but trust me, it's important. Remember that builder's log we talked about? Well, it's not just some bureaucratic hoop to jump through. It's your jet's baby book. It's a chronicle of its creation, a testament to the blood, sweat, and tears you poured into making this dream a reality. Think about it. Years from now, when your jet's soaring through the clouds, wouldn't it be cool to look back and see how it all came together? Every rivet hammered, every wire soldered, every sleepless night spent hunched over blueprints. It's all there in the log. It's a story written in grease and metal shavings, a testament to your ingenuity and perseverance. But it's more than just a sentimental journey. This logbook is your proof, your evidence that you did the work, that you met the FAA's stringent requirements. It's your shield against liability, your guarantor of safety. Because when you're hurtling through the air at hundreds of miles per hour, you want to know that every bolt, every wire, every weld has been documented, inspected, and accounted for. So don't skimp on the details. Write down everything: dates, times, materials used, even the brand of coffee that fueled those late-night work sessions. Include photographs, sketches, diagrams, anything that helps tell the story of your jet's creation. Because this logbook isn't just about satisfying the feds, it's about preserving a legacy, a testament to the power of human ingenuity and the thrill of chasing a dream. Now I know what you're thinking, Mike, I'm a builder, not a photographer. I don't have time for fancy lighting and whatnot. And you know what? You're right, this ain't about winning any photography awards, it's about documenting your progress. Think of it like a crime scene, except instead of chalk outlines and yellow tape, you've got sheet metal, rivets, and a whole lot of ambition. Every photo is a piece of evidence, a snapshot of your journey. So grab your phone or your trusty Polaroid and start snapping. Don't be afraid to get up close and personal. Capture the details, the way the light glints off a freshly milled part, the intricate network of wires snaking through the fuselage, the look of pure determination on your face as you wrestle a particularly stubborn component into place. Remember, a picture is worth 1,000 rivets. It can show the FAA what you did, how you did it, and the quality of your workmanship. It can mean the difference between a green light and a bureaucratic nightmare. So don't be shy. Document everything. The good, the bad, and the downright ugly. Because in the world of experimental aviation, transparency is key. Listen, I get it. Nobody likes paperwork. It's tedious, it's time-consuming, and it can feel about as exciting as watching paint dry. But here's the thing. When it comes to building a jet, documentation isn't just about satisfying the feds. It's about peace of mind. It's about knowing that you've done everything by the book, that you've crossed your T's and dotted your lowercase j's. Because when you're strapped into that cockpit, hurtling through the air at hundreds of miles per hour, you don't want any nagging doubts. You want to know with absolute certainty that your jet is as safe and airworthy as humanly possible. And that's what good documentation does. It gives you that confidence, that assurance that you haven't cut any corners, that you've built a machine you can trust with your life. So yeah, it might seem like a pain in the neck now, but trust me, when you're soaring through the clouds, feeling the wind in your hair and the sun on your face, you'll be grateful you took the time to document every step of the journey. Because in the end, it's not just about building a jet, it's about building a legacy of safety, craftsmanship, and the unwavering pursuit of a dream. Alright folks, you've poured your blood, sweat, and probably a few tears into building this jet. You've got your plans, your parts, and a whole lot of elbow grease to show for it. But before you take to the skies, Uncle Sam wants to have a look-see. That's right, it's inspection time. And let me tell you, these FAA inspectors don't mess around. These are the folks who keep our skies safe, so they're gonna go over your jet with a fine-tooth comb. They'll be checking everything from the structural integrity of the wings to the wiring in the cockpit. And they're not just looking for things that are broken. They want to make sure everything is built to the exact specifications laid out in your plans. It's kind of like when you bring your car to a mechanic, but instead of just checking the oil, They're taking apart the engine and putting it back together again, just to make sure you did it right. Once the inspectors give you the thumbs up on the ground, it's time to take to the air. That's right, it's test flight time. This is where you get to prove that this bird can actually fly. Now, these aren't your average joyrides. These test flights are carefully planned and monitored to evaluate the jet's performance under different conditions. Think of it like putting your jet through boot camp. You'll be testing things like speed, altitude, maneuverability, and how well all the systems work together. And you can bet there'll be some sweaty palms in the cockpit, both yours and the test pilots. This is the culmination of all your hard work. It's the moment of truth, where you find out if this dream machine can actually soar. So, you've survived the inspections, aced the test flights, and your jet is looking like $1 million. You're probably feeling pretty good right now, and rightfully so. But there's still one more hurdle to jump over. You gotta convince the FAA that your jet is safe to fly. And I'm not talking about just safe for you, but safe for anyone who might be in the air with you. Remember all that documentation you've been keeping? All those photos, log entries, and inspection reports? Now's the time to dust them off because the FAA is gonna want to see them. They'll review everything with a fine-tooth comb, making sure every I is dotted and every T is crossed. And if they're satisfied, then and only then will they issue you the Holy Grail, your airworthiness certificate. Well folks, we're finally here. After all the blood, sweat, and grease, after all the inspections and test flights, you're staring at the reason you started this whole crazy journey, the airworthiness certificate. This, my friends, is the golden ticket. This piece of paper, issued by the FAA themselves, certifies that your jet meets all the safety and performance standards required to fly in the United States. It's the ultimate stamp of approval, the badge of honor that says you've built a real honest-to-goodness aircraft. Now don't let its simplicity fool you. This certificate represents countless hours of work, meticulous attention to detail, and a whole lot of grit. It's the culmination of a dream, the realization of a vision that started with a spark and ended with a roar. So take a moment, breathe it in, and let that feeling of accomplishment wash over you. You've earned it. Now, this airworthiness certificate isn't just a piece of paper you hang on the wall and admire. It's a living, breathing document that represents an ongoing commitment to safety and compliance. You see, owning and operating a jet isn't like owning a car. It comes with a whole different level of responsibility. You're responsible for the safety of your passengers, the crew, and anyone who might be in the air or on the ground below you. That means regular maintenance, meticulous record keeping, and a healthy respect for the power and potential danger of what you've built. This certificate is a constant reminder of that responsibility, a symbol of the trust that's been placed in you as a pilot and an aircraft owner. It's a privilege, not a right, and it's one that shouldn't be taken lightly. With your airworthiness certificate in hand, you're finally cleared for takeoff. You can now legally and safely share the skies with other aircraft, soaring above the clouds and experiencing the freedom that only comes with piloting your own jet. But even though the hard part is over, the journey's just beginning. Every flight is a new adventure, a chance to push your limits, explore new horizons, and experience the sheer joy of flight. So buckle up, fire up those engines, and get ready for the ride of your life. You've earned it. And remember, with great power comes great responsibility. Fly safe, fly smart, and never stop pushing the limits of what's possible. And there you have it, the essential steps to get your jet off the ground. We've covered everything from FAA approvals and inspections to test flights and that all-important airworthiness certificate. It's a long and winding road, no doubt, but as you've seen, it's one that's paved with passion, dedication, and a whole lot of hard work. Remember, safety and compliance are key to a successful build. So don't cut corners, follow the rules, and never be afraid to ask for help when you need it. Thanks for watching and happy building.
So there you have it, folks, a look at the challenges and opportunities facing aviation safety in the near future. It's a complex problem, but one that I believe we can solve. And as we move forward, I want to hear from you. What do you think is the key to building a safer jet in 2025? Let me know in the comments below, and be sure to check out my other videos on aviation safety and innovation. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.